Welcome to episode 187, where
Yeah, baby.
we are all together again for the first time
Yeah.
in a month.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're recording this.
Yes.
And we are recording it. It's actually being recorded. Hold on, let me check. Okay, yep, it's recording.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hey everybody. How's everybody doing out there? It was great to be back.
This will
Sorry I've missed you. I did a really good recording though with Ronnie,
Yeah.
but
We did
it's
a
the
great
lost episode.
the lost episode.
yeah, the lost episode.
And the last 2 weeks have been wicked hectic for me. So I'm back. I'm back for good.
Back. Well, before we get into our topic, which I think is going to be a good topic tonight, we do want to thank Grit Automation, who is our platinum level sponsor for SplinterCon 2025.
Con.
Which,
Con.
guys, it's June.
Fast approaching.
In 3 months,
Yeah.
almost 3.5 months, we will be at the event.
Yeah. Have you caught yourself in the last week? I've done it 3 times saying this summer. I'm telling somebody, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do something this summer, and people are like, you do know it's June, right?
It is
I'm like-
summertime.
But I'm like I'm still talking like summer is like way off, you know.
But the way I'm getting confused, Ronnie, is up here in Indianapolis. It's been really pleasant in the morning. Like today, it was 57 when I woke
Mhm.
up. It was
Yeah,
gorgeous out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't feel truly like summer yet, but we've
No.
had some. And I spent the week down in Fort Lauderdale, which was 93 the whole time, even at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It was.
tell
It
you what,
was
Stepping off that
horrific.
plane yesterday
Yep.
and walking outside, we got back at like 8:15 last night. Walking outside, I felt like I was in heaven.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful outside compared to freaking Florida. But we'll talk
The-
more about that.
Freaking Florida.
The humidity gets you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it was not fun.
I now have a new slogan for Fort Lauderdale, Florida: the land of mold, mildew, and fungus.
Yeah,
No, no.
it's gross.
When you run, you slip on the concrete because there's so much mold.
Nicole
It's
ran.
definitely tropical.
I ran out of the 4 days. I ran 3 days. It was awesome.
I ran a little bit there, but we'll talk about that later when we talk about
Okay.
what we've been up to.
What'd you run from?
Oh no, it's pretty funny. I was feeling it for a couple of days. It was stupid. It was alcohol was involved. But
Nice.
so I came up with this topic while I was working on the basement, which is another thing I'm sure we'll get into later. But I was really, really, really impressed by a tool that I purchased that I knew I was not going to use it a lot. And I wouldn't say that this is like a luxury buy so much. I knew I wasn't going to use it a lot, but I knew it would be perfect for this application. And I wanted something that was reliable and something that was fast. And the thing that I'm talking about is the Milwaukee framing nailer, which again, I'm not a framer. I don't plan on building a bunch of walls. I don't have a lot of need for a framing nailer. But I'm so impressed by how good that thing is that it made me think, where do you draw the line on buying a tool that you may only need one time or for one project, or maybe you use it twice, maybe you keep it for a really long time, whatever the case is. But like, what is that line? Like, because I was thinking about it today, and what really made me think of this is actually something that Ronnie told me to buy once. When I was redoing my stairs, he told me to buy this super fancy stair tread gauge. I used it for that project. It worked very well. But looking back at that now, that's what made me think of this topic. I was like, I don't think I'm going to use that again. Maybe I'll do the stairs that lead down into the basement once the basement's done, just so it looks a little bit nicer. So sure, I would use it again. But outside of that, I don't know when I'm ever going to use that. And I was thinking, was that too much? Right? Was that necessary?
Okay, I'll have you answer this. Do you own a TS-75?
No.
But what do you do when you need one?
You go to
Borrow
Sedges.
borrow it.
You
Yeah.
borrow it from me, right?
Uh-huh.
So I want to ask you another question. Was the Milwaukee a cord or cordless?
Cordless.
Oh, okay. Because I have a corded framing nailer. I mean, a hose, a pneumatic one. You could have borrowed.
Yeah, and I thought about that too. Like, but I already had, I want to say the 16 gauge Milwaukee, and then
Yeah.
obviously I've got all the Grex stuff, which is all pneumatic. And then I was like, oh, let me just get the framing nailer. It was on sale because Milwaukee does sales like
Yep.
they're going out of style. Um, and I don't know if this like I wouldn't necessarily again classify the Milwaukee framing nailer as like a luxury buy, but um I guess I I'm so torn between it because I'm so happy with its performance, right? I'm so
Mm-hmm.
impressed with it. It shoots instantaneously. It's solid. It's reliable. I'm still after framing the three walls or the two long walls that I framed halfway through the battery. Like
Yeah.
it's really, really impressive. But then, I was thinking like, does it make sense? I'll give you another example. I find it happens to me a lot, not in woodworking, but in home renovation. And the reason why I think I'm the way that I am is because I do appreciate good tools that are reputable and have a good track record in woodworking. So why wouldn't I kind of go along with that same mentality if I'm doing home renovation stuff? But like I bought a DeWalt cable stapler. Like what? Why? How often have I used it? Twice. Am I going to use it on this project? Yep. Am I glad that I have it? Yeah. But was that overkill? Right? Did I need that?
That's one of my more recent purchases. I bought a Milwaukee like Romex cable stapler, and it's one of those things that I wished I had bought a long time ago. I knew it existed 2 or 3 years ago. Every time we do a deck ceiling, we run it. It's always Cameron's job. That makes it even worse. You don't want to buy it because it's him struggling with it, not me. Dropping those little white plastic, nails and stuff. But he spends so much time on that. And before that, it was my dad when he used to do the electrical. As soon as we got that, I just feel like an idiot for not getting it sooner. It's like instantaneous poof, 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 done. That was a time sucker putting those little staples in, and it just does it perfectly.
And how many would you drop doing it?
Oh gosh, it just was a mess. You would think you're always running out of them. The white kind of, they take up so
Yep.
much room. No matter how many you stock, you run out of them, and you have to go. And it's just no brainer. It's like on that same note, sometimes those tools that are maybe cost a little bit, they're premium, but it's like if you're going to do, might as well do it now. Now's the best time to get it.
Yeah. Because
If not,
it's
you're
only
going
going
to
to go
find
up.
yourself because you're going to find yourself using that framing nailer more than you even think on other, especially if you're doing renovation projects all the time. And
Yeah.
on that stair gauge also, just remember you have it. There's times when you'll use it that's not even close to stairs. You could be doing a windowsill fit
Yeah.
out. You know, Nothing is ever perfectly square. Right now, you don't use it because when you build cabinets, they're perfectly square. And if you were doing something, you're just going to cut it to length and stick it in there. But if you're working on a house, any type of remodeling job, you have to have that because those framers did not do it as perfect
Hmm.
as your cabinetry, without a doubt. So it's good to have that somewhere nearby, and you will grab it more when you have it. That's
Yeah.
key. That's key.
Interesting.
I feel like I have a lot of.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I got one. I got one for you. Okay, because I'm going to ask you a question again. Um, so you went and got a premium. What if you just went and bought a crappy one because you're gonna like at a Harbor Freight? I know people who do that. They're gonna use it once and throw it away. Why didn't you do
Yeah.
that? Why didn't you do that?
Again, because I feel like I am indoctrinated into immediately going after what
Will
I can
work.
find is the best.
Preaching to the choir.
Right.
And
And the reason I did the Milwaukee is because
I knew
I'd
the
used the
answer.
Milwaukee 16 gauge with my previous sergeant major when we were doing the door. and he had the framing nailer as well. I didn't use it in that time, and so I knew that they performed well. And everything that I've read about, Ronnie spoke very highly of them because he uses the nailers. And as much as I didn't want to add another battery platform, in my mind, I was like, okay, if I'm going to get a battery operated, nailer system, then I'm going to go with Milwaukee because from everything I read and everybody I've talked to, they make it sound like Milwaukee is the way to go. And based off my experience so far, I'm very happy. I've had DeWalt, I've had the Ryobi, and they all take time to like load up to fire the nail. It's not instantaneous. This is more like I feel like this is more like a pneumatic
Hmm.
gun
Yeah.
than anything.
I think I touched on it on our last podcast, but I was very disappointed in DeWalt's nailers that I used at the build
Yeah.
off. Extremely. I thought it was something wrong with the first one. We had 4 new ones, and 3 of them didn't work right. And everybody shared the one. These were all new out of the box. And it has this breathing thing it does after it. I'm like, you're not a pass load. You don't have a gas cartridge in. Why are you breathing? The Milwaukee works like a pneumatic, doesn't make a sound except for the poo firing it. It's like, what kind of technology difference is that there? Because, and even the awkwardness of holding it, it doesn't feel right when you hold it in your hand. It feels like it wasn't designed for a human's use. It just feels weird. I was very surprised. And the most surprising thing is the tip that comes down. You know how you look at where your tip is and you know the nail's going to fire there?
Yep.
The DeWalt fires the nail like an eighth inch, like 3/16 of an inch in front of that tip.
Oh, that's wrong.
To me, that's almost dangerous because I
Yep.
look at that tip. Is it almost coming out that place? It does
Yep.
not. And I almost fired off one of the edge when I was trying to do something. It was almost a danger for me. But if you did go to Harbor Freight to grab whatever that equivalent tool is, to me, and there's people in different places in their building, but the frustration is not worth it for me of trying to deal with like it not firing or it's not doing what you need it to do. It takes the fun out of doing a project.
It's like
That's the
buying
way.
it's like buying a crappy hand plane and then realizing that it doesn't cut well and then you don't like
Yes.
hand tools. Like Sedge
Now,
talked about before.
I do know a guy he does industrial jobs and he goes to Harbor Freight and buys an HVLP sprayer for every job that he does. They spray all the steel, they spray everything on that job, and they just throw it away when they're done. They don't even bother cleaning it up. It's not worth it to them. And he knows his employees will not take care of it. So that meets their needs, and it sounds like a good solution for them because they're dealing with jobs,
But
that are
how many?
really high dollar jobs.
Yeah, but is he looking at his investment in time, going back and forth and buying them every time?
Well, he's not. He has his guys. They just buy them in
Yep.
bulk, but they just see that as part of the project. It's almost like a throwaway. It's a
like a
disposable.
consumable.
Yes.
Yep.
Which I mean, you're talking about when they do one, it's like $100,000 job, and they use it to spray. That makes sense. You don't need to keep it. Just get rid of it, because he said also he doesn't feel confident that will hold up for multiple jobs. They used to try to clean them out and reuse them, and it was not worth his employees' time. He's paying people their welder's salary and things hourly. It's not worth it. Just go get another one. And so that kind of, you always got to what your time is worth.
Wow. Yeah. Oh
You
no,
know?
that's
Interesting.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I used
Yeah.
to pick up shooting glue in the beginning. We used to use a Harbor Freight gun. We used to buy 5 of them at a whack and shoot
Yeah.
glue out of it, throw it away.
Yeah, same thing. And I think it's important to note too, before I forget, before I lose track, there's people listening to this podcast that are younger and newer to the trades. Keep in mind, I'm sure we sound so snobby sometimes. I have bought the other cheaper stuff before. I have bought the cheap Harbor Freight, the other line sprayers, everything. I just feel like I deserve now to be working with better stuff. And I price it into my job and it pays for it. I've done my time with the cheaper stuff. And everybody has to.
Because
Everybody has to. Unless you're Cameron.
because you know the value of your time.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you're young in the trade, you think, no big deal. It's just my time. You wait. If you're young and dumb like I was, then you
Yeah.
get married, and then you have the kids, and then you get private school, and then you
Right.
get soccer, you get freaking football, you get your times. You should be
Yeah.
with them, not driving back and forth to Harbor Freight,
Right.
buying new tools all the time, and then getting frustrated on the job site.
Right. And to Jason, to your concern with your buying that kind of level stuff when you can, if you decide after you're done with this project that you're not going to use it anymore, that has a very high resale value versus going and buying something like a Harbor Freight. You're not going to get, we're using Harbor Freight just as an example because everybody's kind of familiar with, the tool differences. Um, but you could always resell it. That's kind of my mentality. I never do, but it's nice to know you could because
Yeah.
eventually I'm going to use it again, and
Or if Sedge needs to borrow a framing gun that's cordless.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
My framing, when I had a Porter cable for over 20 years, I've had it, and the seal finally went on it. One day it was just sitting in the pneumatic. All of a sudden it started like just breathing air. And so a seal somewhere blew. That's when I changed mine out because I love not having the cord with a nailer. Once you go without it, you kind of get spoiled just being battery and no cord. So
You know, I actually do have another example that's kind of going along with what you guys are saying. And it's a tile cutter. So when I did my bathroom renovation in Greenwood, I bought a tile cutting machine and I went to Home Depot and I bought the rigid one. I bought the rigid one because it was reasonably priced. And to me, it seemed like it would have done everything that I needed it to do, which it did. But did I get the accuracy and the quality that I was hoping for? No, I didn't. And I still have it. And I'm already thinking about it when I redo our bathroom in the master bedroom. I don't think that I want to use that cutter. And I think that what I would end up doing is going out and buying a much more solid, reputable, even though I probably won't use it very many times. But based on my experience last time, going back to what you guys were just mentioning about people are early on in the trades and they buy stuff, this goes back to that conversation we had many podcasts ago, buy once, cry once mentality, and how that doesn't really exist so much in people that are new, or maybe people that don't have as much money to spend on tools. And they think, well, I need to get this thing so I could buy this and the other 6 things that I need, or I could just buy this one really good thing. And people have a tendency early on to say, well, why would I buy the one thing when I can get 6 things? And then they have a bunch of tools that don't live up to the quality and they use them over time. And then they realize that I should have just bought the better one in the first place. And in all reality, they end up spending more money in the long run because instead of just buying the thing that they know they probably needed and wanted would last a really long time, they bought 6 things that are okay and that they thought that they needed, right? So that was kind of a thing for me. I wouldn't say that, the rigid tile saw is a top quality tile saw. It's a DIY, the little sled shifts left and right. It's not super accurate. Did it cut the tile? Yeah. But would I want to use it again? No, I wouldn't.
right.
So I think I would invest a little bit more money. And I guess that's the other thing too, to think about, right? So if we are talking about our time and we are trying to do things on our own, right? We obviously want to be efficient and we are doing it on our own because we want to save money. So if we're saving a bunch of money in other areas, sure, if I end up spending a bunch of money on tools to do the job, I'm still now encroaching on what it would have cost to have a professional do it, right? However, now I have that tool set and they're good quality tools for in the event that I ever wanted to do it later. So I almost think that there's, another huge benefit to DIY, which is all the money you save on doing it yourself, you can afford to buy
Yes.
some of those top quality tools.
True. And don't forget also renting. The tile cutter is number one for me on renting. And I learned this accidentally when I moved up 3 tile cutters. I moved from the manual one that breaks, which is like punishment. That's what they will have for people when they go to hell. You'll use those kind of tile cutters because they're awful and they break the tiles when you go to. So I used that forever. I moved to a little plastic power one. And then I moved up to one that I don't remember the brand, but it has Electrolux motor. You can't hear it. It's whisper quiet and it has the water pump. My water pump broke on one time and I was like, man, this is awful. And I had to get a job done. So I went and rented one. And I was like, wow, because the one on the level that you would want to buy, but rental places have, they're like have a Capex ball bearing slide
Yep.
going back and forth on the table.
One
And
year.
just that water pump and that slide alone made that tile job enjoyable compared to what I consider my
Ah.
nice one was probably $700, but the table does not slide so smoothly. And the cool part is the rental places keep them in like pristine condition with the pumps and everything. There's a lot that can go wrong with tile saws. When you store them, they don't like that. So that is my top thing that I would just rather rent because they also take up a lot of room and they
Yep.
Yeah.
store them for you. And you can get one for like $50 a day. And it's like, to me, kind of a no-brainer that haven't used my tile saw since then. I've rented one a few times. But if you're a professional who does tile every day, no brainer. Go spend $2,000 on a tile saw. No big deal, you know. But
Hmm.
with as rare as I do it, I will rent that always, and I'll always rent 16-foot A-frame ladders because I don't want to store them, and I can rent it for like $60, $70 a day. With the one or two times I need one or two times I need one every 2 years. There's no point in having one. So renting's always an option too. It's one extra step, but it's an option.
Interesting.
Well, I mean that's perfect for this because that's a really good example. I was just saying I'd probably go out and buy another one, and you're right. It takes up a lot of space. Even the rigid one does.
They're heavy.
They're
Yeah,
heavy,
yeah, yeah,
and yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
The one you
it makes
rent
more
even
sense
comes
for
with a
that one
stand.
thing.
It even comes with a stand. The motors whisper quiet, ball bearing, the water part. The water part is so critical, especially when you're working inside. You don't want to start throwing dust everywhere. And it seems like the water pumps on the consumer ones that you buy, all the way up to like the pro, they don't work consistently. They get clogged up. I've never had a rental one have a problem because they're made to run all day long, even on industrial
And
job. They're
it
so much better.
eliminates the drudgery out of a task.
Yes, it actually makes it
Is
fun.
is it worth it? Yes, but sometimes for me, it's overkill. You guys want to hear a new one? I just bought something.
What do you buy?
And I'm gonna do a video on it.
What'd you buy?
I bought a battery powered Ego Earth Auger.
Earth auger. Oh, really? Really?
So what's an earth auger?
Like a drill bit?
Like a big drill bit, and it does 8-inch holes. And I just bought, and they should be here Friday. A
Oh, for like
6 inch.
post holes.
Yeah. So I got a few jobs come. I gotta do it. I'm gonna build the gate this fall, and I got to drill a couple holes. I just planted the whole backyard. I did 3 yards. Blah blah blah. So Marianne asked me something because she goes out and buys all these perennials and stuff for the flower beds. And she says, I said to her, I go, hey, when are you going to the perennials place to get the flowers? And she looks at me and goes, why? She goes, you hate digging those holes. I go, I want to do a video. I'm excited.
So how does it
Okay.
work? Like some of them are two person. This one you hold it on both
Oh no,
sides.
it's one person. It's got a forward
Good.
reverse. It's really sweet. I just assembled it. I
That's
am so
awesome.
excited. The bit that comes with it is this big around. It's an eight
Really?
inch and it's about a 24-inch throw. It's pretty cool. So
That's
I wanted
handy.
to get a 4-inch and 6-inch, and I got those on order. So I spent the money, and she was just laughing, and she's going, you know why? Because she puts all these plants out all around the house and says, hey, when you have a second, can you dig these holes? Or she does it and she's in pain forever.
That's not good.
Okay.
That happens.
Okay. So I want to talk about something else about buying tools.
Okay.
So I had the pleasure and the blessing last week. I had one of the best weeks I have had in the last 10 years at work. I have a colleague named Wolfgang, and he calls me up. He goes, hey, I'm coming over to the States. And I just hung out with him in February. He goes, I want to go tool shopping with you. I want to go into some shops. I want to go around the Midwest with you. Like, okay. So we end up in Hardville Tool. And right
Nice.
when I think I'm not going to spend any money, I end up spending $250.
Is that what
That's
the
just,
is that what the
That's
auger is?
no,
Oh,
no, I bought that online.
okay. I'm curious what the price of that is because that's one of my least favorite thing to do is dig holes like that. I would think it's
Okay.
pretty
You
cool.
ready?
Hmm.
You ready? It was like 550 with a
That's not
battery.
bad. That's not
with
bad.
a battery, and it's awesome. So I end up buying the woodpeckers. You know those big cal. I bought the set with the big calipers, the new ones.
Hmm.
And he goes, "What are you going to use those for?" So we're back in my shop, and I showed him. He goes, "Oh, I should have gotten those." And I bought okay, and this is something that okay. So you remember this year my laser went out. I had that
Mhm.
Pacific Laser Systems laser. It was the first straight line laser that was a solid line that did level plumb, and you could lock the crosshair for tile. It was the first one ever. So I've had that for 30 years.
Wow.
Okay, it finally went out. So I I went and looked at there must be 100 companies online,
Hmm.
and from 49.95, and we've discussed this. I remember this because I we discussed it, Ronnie, because you got Bosch lasers,
Hmm.
and I thought, should I go? And I went, no, I'm going to go with a company I trust, and I bought the Stabila for 400. I love it. I don't use it all the time, but I know it's there. So when I go and use it, because I needed it for also for my video for setting the miter saw stand, and I'm going to tell you, I will never be disappointed because I bought from a company I trust. So one of the other purchase at Hartville was I bought a 24-inch Stabila level. I cannot not buy quality.
Yep.
So
That's one of the
here's a
levels
really
I
good
use
one because right when I think I need it, do you guys just buy something because you just want it, a tool?
Yeah,
all
all
the
the time.
time. All the time.
Okay. And is there something that you've
Pistol.
wanted? Is this something that you've wanted for a long time and you just said, I'll pull the trigger? I was up at, Berlin's House of Tools. We went, Wolfgang and I, we went up to Berlin's on Friday and we started shopping. And if you've ever been in there in the Joliet store, they got everything. I mean, literally everything that's made. And we went to an end cap and there was a Grand Fours Burke display. You know what that is?
No.
It's the Swedish axe company that's been around for over 100
Oh yeah,
years.
I've heard of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. The axes.
And
Yeah.
their axes run from 150 to $500.
Yeah.
So I bought a carver's axe.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, it's actually a hatchet, but everything they make it's called an axe. But I bought a carver's hatchet. Yeah, that I dropped 2 bills on that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it
I don't.
fun to
By
axe
the
though.
way, I don't care. I walked up to the register, and even Wolfgang said, "What the hell did you buy?" It was $450 worth of stuff.
It adds up quick. But
But is
you
it?
only cry once.
But is it stuff? I bought another Stabila level. I bought a 12-inch level, magnetic, because I need it.
Yeah.
I
They're
I
nice.
gave Mikey, my business partner, who I was just on the phone with for about an hour before I jumped on the podcast. He's out in Denver. He still has our Stabila levels out there. He's still using. He just went from doing trim and now he's doing kitchen installs again. And he goes, "Yeah, I still have the Stabilas."
I have a
You know,
6 foot Stabila that has been dropped so many times that every once in a while I check it with like my Bosch laser just to make sure it's kind of,
yeah,
still, it's never, it's
it's
never went out and it's been dropped off ladders and everything.
it's guaranteed for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right when you think you get everything and you've been giving everything away because you're trying to declutter, I ended up buying another $600 worth of tools.
It never ends.
But hey, wait till you see it. I bought a really cool razor knife. Wait till you see it. It's really cool by Crane. You know the flooring company,
Hmm.
Crane. It's really cool. So,
Cool.
what else? That's that about buying tools. I
Well,
will always buy quality now because Ronnie, I'm not a hypocrite. I used to buy a lot of stuff just to get through a job, but I learned my lesson.
after struggling with it for a long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then when you
Sometimes you
buy,
just feel like an idiot because you struggled so long.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got the
Well,
job done. You
Yeah.
got the
the
job done.
the laser is
Yeah.
actually a really good example because I just got that Bosch that Ronnie was talking about, and I feel like that's a really good example of a tool. The levels are a really good example that it just makes sense to get a really good one that does everything, even if you only use it a few times,
Hmm.
because in that occasion that you do need to use it, you want to make sure that it does everything that you might need it to do. And we talked about this, I think, last episode or 2 episodes ago when I was letting Ronnie know that I had bought it. It made framing out the walls so easy.
Hmm.
And that was a feature that I wasn't able to do with the other two lasers that I bought over the years, which was the I'm going to get one just because I want a laser, but it's limited as to what it can do.
Hmm.
Then I'm going to get one because I needed to do a little bit more, but it still doesn't have all the bells and whistles that I need. And now guess what? I got to a project that I needed another feature that is not included in the first two that I bought. So now I've spent, way more money than if I would have just bought one that did everything
Hmm.
off the bat, even if I didn't need those features, because like I'm telling you, it made the process go so much easier, so much faster, and so accurate.
Hmm.
You know
And
what I
you'll
mean?
find other
Other uses.
applications
Yeah.
to use it. I
Now
just
you have
set
it.
grade on when I graded out my new lawn or
Hmm.
my backfill. I had to set a gentle slope. And Mary Ann said, "How are you going to do that?" And then she was out there, and I was showing her. She goes, "That is so cool."
I used
But
mine when, go ahead.
it's amazing how much time that saves you.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I used mine when they were building our pool after they left. I waited till it was almost dark and I shot the line, horizontal line, one time off the back of our house and went out there with a tape measure and checked all the way around to
Yep.
make sure that that was all sitting before it was locked in because the water's going to tell you once the pool goes in there. And I don't think they're going to fix it if it's wrong. So I was out there checking their work after they left every day because it's so important. And the lasers, I wish they had like full visibility and full sun. They don't. But as long as it's shady and not like direct sun, you can see, especially the green lasers, you can see them outside. You can see them
Yeah.
on brick. I use them all the time outside.
Yeah, and what's cool is everybody would see my PLS laser and go, "Oh, it's a red laser. It should be green." Well, the new Stabila level is green, so it's even cooler. So
It's the green for me is even like on brick is usually a reddish tone. I can see that green much better hitting brick than I can a red line outside. And they say the green laser is stronger also, but mine's about the color. I can see it better outside.
so Jason, a big note on this is don't go out and buy an auger. I got one for us now.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's a
don't know
good
if I'll need an
example,
auger.
Sedge, of something you don't use all the time, but it
Yeah.
sure is nice when you have it,
And there's only a very I can boil it down to two people, Rick and Jason, who I loan my tools to.
Yeah,
Eh,
not even you, Ronnie.
No,
Suck.
well,
well, Ronnie, come on, man.
if you want to drive the 200 miles and come get it.
Well,
Yeah,
no, not Ronnie. I'd lend it to Cam,
Yeah, there you
but not
go.
Ronnie.
yeah,
Yeah, because he's going to torment it for you afterwards. Uh, and on that same note of digging, like I had a water line go out on one of our rental houses not too long ago, and the plumber said he was too busy to do the actual full replacement if they couldn't fix it. And so I decided to do it myself. And it was about 130 feet long. And I went to the rental place and rented one of those. It's like weighs 700. No, it was like, it's like 2,000 pounds. I had to use my other trailer. 2,000 pound, just basically a big chainsaw that you drive backwards. And it was $500 to rent it for half a day. But I went to the place really close to there, grabbed the trailer, put it on there, dug a 130-foot line about 30 inches deep, and took it back before lunch and paid $500 gladly for that. And that would have cost, probably $10,000 to buy at least. That doesn't make sense for me to buy that. That's my first water line I've ever done to the street. But that was so worth it for me, $500, and I got to give it back to them, and they can store it for me for the next time I need something like that. But an auger I would use at least once a year, like what Sedge
Hmm.
bought. That makes sense for it to add it to my tool arsenal. I'll
Yep.
probably plant more trees, more flowers if I had that.
Well,
You know,
I can't wait, man. It's just really funny. Marianne goes, "What's that?" I showed her. She goes, "Oh, no wonder you wanted me to go to Perennials Plus and get some flowers." So we're gonna
that's
go do
cool.
that, I think, soon. I just
I,
I like things that make a menial job fun.
yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Oh, I've got a perfect example. Same.
Conturo.
No, this
Oh,
one.
dude, I was borrowing yours. I can't work without it.
Yeah.
And
This
then I
one
got one, an employee throwaway, and I was pretty stoked about that.
for 15 years when I've done a deck ceiling, the last thing that I do is a downspout, and we do water test, and there's water in the downspout, and I use a stepping bit, and I put my hand up there, and I go into it's the worst part of the whole job. I've tried leather sleeves that welders use because when you go into that metal, it's scalding hot and it lands on your arms and sticks. It's awful. I've tried everything, wearing a jacket in the middle of the summer to do it. Festool comes out with that little accordion thing that goes over the bit, you know, and I try it for the first time under there, stick it in there, and it goes around the bit, and I stick it up in there, and just not one shaving comes out of it. I would pay any amount to not have to do what I always did. It was the least fun thing of that entire job. And here Cameron's doing downspouts now and never got to experience that. And I almost want to take that one from him and give him the other one and go, do this one first. And now try this luxury model that you can just sit there and watch it and not even worry about the shavings that are scalding hot that come off from that. And some people may be listening to this and they're like, why don't you cut the hole before you put it up? Well, it's because you don't want to guess. You want that downspout to be exactly where it needs to go, and you can't take that chance. You have to cut it once it's up because it changes a little bit once you install so you just can't pre-do it. I've tried before and regretted it. So that one attachment on there is worth, like, say I already had the drill, there's no amount of money that I wouldn't pay to have that attachment. It's amazing. And that's
Because
what
of
you're
the
talking
experience.
about. It makes the job enjoyable that I would dread the entire day, knowing I had that downspout as the last step. So it's all about the tools can make it more enjoyable and make you want to do that more, than you would avoid it.
So, hey, remind me, guys, I've been out of it. Beers with the boys and bourbon with the boys. That's only for patrons, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Why?
I was just thinking out loud because I can go more in depth on with beers and the boys or bourbon with the boys about some of the things I did with Wolfgang when I was here. It'd be pretty cool.
Mm.
So become a patron.
Yeah, you better become a patron.
Yeah, got to.
Oh,
Got
so
to.
I'll stir the pot just a little.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Uh I don't think I can retire from Festool until yeah, for the next 10 years. I was told that.
Because of what's coming out.
I am, as Gary says, I say this all the time. I was blown away. But I spent a week with Wolfgang Knorr, who's head of research and development for TTS, and he just wanted to talk with people. And Ronnie, he said that about the accordion for the KHC is what it's designed for.
Hmm.
Um, he's there's some insight. He would love to hear that.
Yeah, I was.
We were at Jason's shop and he just loved talking with Jason. And you had the bench pilot out and we're
Yep.
using it. Yeah, it was and that's the other reason I wasn't on the podcast last week because I was hanging out with him and I spent a ton of time and he's a colleague, but he's becoming a very, very close friend. Um, it's really cool. So
That's cool.
every year he comes over, we're gonna kind of schedule out a day where him and I can hang out and go to Lee Nielsen Tool Works.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
made him
let's.
buy a rack when he was here. He bought an Eleiko rack. Allie, you're listening to this. He went and bought a really nice Eleiko rack. It was really nice. And we almost went to Rogue, but next year we're going to go to Rogue. And it's really cool when you get a chance to spend some time on the road with a colleague and and you're asked a lot of really insightful questions and vice versa. And I mean, we spent 3 hours inside Hartville Tool, and very little of it was in the Festool booth. We were
You could spend
talking
the whole
about
day in there.
it was amazing. Then we were tool shopping all week, and he bought some blue spruce chisels,
Uh-huh. Nice.
and he
Nice.
bought that plane you have, Ronnie.
Yes.
He bought that. He loved that,
I love
and
it
he's a
too.
real tool guy. and it was great. So that's how I spent my week last week, and the week before I was in Fort Lauderdale with the kids because I told everybody I was heading down there, and that's where I've been, everybody. And I'm kind of so stoked that the three of us are doing the podcast tonight because I miss these two knuckleheads here.
Seems
You
like it's
know,
been a while for sure for all of
yeah.
us.
So
Yeah.
that's what I've been up to: buying tools and drilling holes in the ground.
I like it.
Let me
But
let me knock out some quick admin stuff because I think we've gotten the tool stuff down. We can just keep chatting about
what you
what
been
we've
up
had
to?
going on. We do have a new apprentice patron
Oh wow.
by the name of Snafu.
Snafu.
Oh, situation normal, all up.
Yeah,
What's up,
it says
Snafu?
it says Snafu. Welcome.
Welcome,
He will have
Snafu.
access to
I
not only
make one of
beers
those
with
in
the
the
boys,
shop
but
almost every
bourbon with
day.
the boys.
I make a snafu.
Yeah. And then we also want to thank Leather by Dragonfly and Forge 3D, who are our gold level sponsors for our upcoming
And
SplinterCon
and they're on vacation right now, separate vacations.
Uh-huh.
on
Do you
vacay.
know do you know why I know that? One of our highlights was having lunch with Michelle and Patrick
Oh, nice.
at Fat Boy Brewery.
There you go.
What a
They
great
live.
Nice.
lunch that was.
Did they
Ronnie,
come
you
down to
want
you, or did you go on up?
No, we were in that area and
Hmm.
we went and we got a tour of the leather factory and of Patrick's shop.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that, by the way, I know they're listening. And if you would ask Wolfgang, he thinks that's one of the top highlights.
Oh,
Cool.
nice. Yeah, because Michelle.
Yep, it's because of Michelle. And he really didn't get a good look at the mouse pads. That was
Yeah,
unfortunate.
That was
that's what I thought
unfortunate.
he came over for. They were gonna
Yeah.
talk about doing a mouse
Yeah.
pad. Yeah.
Ronnie, I'm going to go run and use the little boys' room while
Hmm.
you're chatting about what you've been up to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ronnie.
Okay. What I've been
Ronnie,
up
what's
to.
that wood in the background?
That is walnut that I ordered the wrong size, so I
Oh,
keep
that's
it here because it looks
yep.
really nice.
Friendly reminder.
I don't want to put it on my rack because I don't want to forget about it. And I
Yep.
want to make something out of it. People that can't see, it's a 9.5, 9 foot, I think 10 inches long.
Oh, that's
And
right.
and I needed 10 foot because that's what they sold it as. And I learned my lesson to measure and don't trust what they say. So these were all the pieces that were under. So it's about, I think, roughly around $700 or $800 mistake, but I'm gonna make something out of them. So I have them sitting right here where I won't forget. Something table related. It's 8/4, about 6 inch wide. Um, and on that same note, let me grab it. I'll show you, Sedge.
Huh. Oh, you got the holly.
Yes. So
Yeah.
here's the holly. So this holly, it's two pieces, 4 feet long. It's an inch and a half wide by about 6 inches, and this was $500 for two of these. And I gladly paid it because I needed enough to make the stripes for the top of the boat. The funniest thing is I left it in, I put it in Cameron's Jeep. I do that a lot when I leave my car. I'll stick things in his because he comes behind me to the shop and he just sees gifts in there that I'm telling him to bring because it was shipped to the house. And I said, "Did you get the holly? Did you see the holly in the back?" He goes, "I saw some boreal board like in the back. I didn't see any wood." And I was like, "That's wood." And he went back out and looked at it. He's like, "I thought it was that or PVC." He goes, "I did not know it was real wood. It
Yeah.
does not look like it. They say it's the whitest wood you can get. I believe it.
Yep. And no,
I
it is.
believe it. So
That's
that's
the
going to
whitest
be,
wood.
it's really, I was really shocked that I think that goes down as the most pricey wood I've bought. I thought it would have been other things, but it makes total sense to me. Holly trees aren't big and they have a lot of limbs. To get a clear piece of holly, it's really, really rare to find. So this piece was actually 8 feet long, and they asked me if it was okay to cut it into piece, 4 foot piece, two 4 foots to get it to me, and I said it's perfectly fine because it's going to be really small strips, and even if I have to put end to end, it's okay.
But what's cool about that is think about that. It's holly is a bush, right? And that's a 6 inch wide wood.
Yeah, it's a big one. It had on there attention guitar makers for
Oh yeah.
For Steve listening. It said attention. So whenever they have a guitar in mind, you're always going to pay more for the wood. I've seen that. So I feel bad for people who make guitars because they know what they're looking for. So I bought that. I got just that's one of those things I just had to,
Can you hold it up again?
Oh,
Since I
yeah.
didn't get to see
It's
it.
just
But also,
Oh
it's
wow.
marketers like it because of
here's
the whiteness, and also flooring guys who do the high end inlays. They use Holly,
yeah, it's
and it is so tough. And usually, I've never seen a 6 inch wide board. It's
yeah,
always 50 millimeters, 75 millimeters tops,
yeah.
2 inch, 3 inch tops. I've
And
seen a lot of 25 millimeter, 1 inch strips, and
mhm.
everybody's glad to get that.
Yeah, and part of me was thinking, while making thin strip, it doesn't really matter. But on the efficiency side, I'd much rather start with a piece of wood like that, flatten it one time, get it set up, and then just make all my strips versus taking a bunch of little pieces. That is going to take so much longer. Kind of back to what we are talking about. I paid more for something that will save me a
Mm,
ton of time, and I'd like for this also will make the wood all be the same color to be
yeah,
from the same piece. So I just bit the bullet and did it. But that was so far, I think that's the number one spot of most pricey thing on
yeah,
the boat that I would have never known.
yeah,
Um,
and that's the number one wood for string inlay on federal furniture too,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
because of the whiteness, and it
Makes
holds
sense.
up all these years.
Makes sense. So that's moving along. We're getting ready to start the top of the boat. I think it's called officially the decking, even though it's the top side. I could
Yeah.
think of decking as what you walk on, but it's called the decking. And that's the mahogany and holly strips that I've just cannot wait to do. So we're going to be starting that next. That's our next video, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited to do that. We just finished all the things that I was dreading to get to that point, cutting out the motor well, fleshing up the top side, doing all that. Finally got our video out, our last video this weekend. It took me 25 hours of editing. I started on Thursday and
Oh
I did it.
Write
Lord.
that down. That's
I
how I'm going to
finished.
start tomorrow morning.
I finished it on Sunday, and it took me. I kept track. It was 25 hours. That doesn't count the rough edits. It's crazy how much time it takes to do a video, especially when you have a lot of footage. I had 6.5 hours of footage, and I got it down to 30 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was glad to get that done. It's like a huge check mark in my brain to get that taken care of. So I am caught up video wise. I have no other footage. Like when we start the top, I'm running live. I have no backlog. It will be the next video. We'll be installing that top part. So I was glad to get that done. Cameron went to Florida on Sunday with his friends, like a senior trip. So I knew I needed to get the final part of the video and get that done. So I was able to check that off. Madison went to Italy on Sunday. So I had one kid go to Florida and the other one went to Italy on Sunday. So Kelly and I was like, we're going to go to Florida. So we're going to Florida tomorrow because we're like, everybody else is leaving. We're going too. And so we're leaving just with no agenda. We're just going down for like 5 days just to get away. We're taking a trip because our kids left us.
Are you staying up on the panhandle, or are you
We're
going
going to
down the?
be somewhere like in the we're going to we're going to land in Florida, like Kissimmee area. We know somebody that lives there, has a
Yeah.
house there, and we're going to stay with him. We're going to drive over to the um after Braden. It's called Santa. What was it called?
Siesta Key,
Santa Island, Anna Island. Um,
Sanibel, Sanibel.
no, Santa. I think it's Santa. It's where we were going to stay earlier this year, and they canceled it on the way down because of the storms. And apparently, it just wiped out this island. And they have it rebuilt now, and we're going to go back and see it because we plan on it. It's all houses on this island, and everybody says it's great. So we want to go down and check it out. It is Anna Maria.
Anna Maria.
Anna Maria. It's just off from Bradenton out on its own little island.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can walk the whole place. And I want to go check that out. So that's kind of a central place. We're just going to do some driving around. I rented a car with unlimited miles, and we're just going to burn it up and see a lot of things. Kind of picking out our next time we're going to go down and just kind of do some recon. So we're doing that. So I've had 2 busy days of getting ready for that. I've been ordering supplies so we don't get stuck on the boat because electrical's coming right behind that. And I've got a hard date of Cameron is going to move in with his friends in August. So he's not going to be as much at the shop, like it'll be more of a place he drives to. So I really need to make sure we get a lot of progress done on the boat in the rest of June and in July. There's a lot that needs to be done. So we're working on that because I definitely want to get it in before it gets cold, where the boat can be in the water. And I want to get the videos out too. I tell you, if you ever want some motivation on a project, start a series because people will hound you to death. Like I've gotten rude emails like, "Are you all ever going to finish the boat? It's summer. You said you'd have it finished by summer." And I was like, "No, I said summer. I didn't say by summer. I said summer." And
And they
other
didn't
people
tell
are
you
like,
what year.
I mean, I'll get a video. Some people send me email or send a message. There's all kinds of them out there. Comments. It's like, did you ever finish that boat? Why didn't you put out another video? And I'm thinking, do you realize it takes like 20 hours of editing just to put that out? And on top of everything else we do, it's like, it's hard, but it's great to do it weekly in the winter, but you can't do that when you've got full-time job and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying. I hope I saw the frustration with people and I'm like, okay, I got to keep these things going. So we're going to keep them coming out, but they're doing great, and it's Jason's forgotten. Jason will roll out a video, and he'll have like 100,000 views in 2 days, and he's like, "Oh, this video sucked. I don't know why more people didn't watch it." But for me, like to roll out a video and have almost 5,000 views in 2 days, I'm like, it's crazy. The boat ones do great. Like people wait for it and they eat it up, and that's the first videos I think that I've seen that with. So I need to keep rolling them out. Yeah, I live with Jason's like, video sucked. It was like
I
70.
assume you're talking about Jason Hibbs
No, I'm talking about
because
you.
if I get
I'm talking about
100,000 views on a video, I'm
no,
happy as
I mean,
crap.
what I used you as an example because you quickly get immune to it. Like I used to roll out a YouTube video and it would have 150 views in 3 weeks, and you're like, ooh, it went up. It went up to 250 views. You quickly forget that and it goes to another level. And it's like, I'm seeing right now, I roll out a video and it has, 5,000 views in 2 days. And I have to remind myself, wow, that's a really big deal on YouTube. On Instagram, not so much. You can have a video hit viral, go 100,000, but I'm so excited about that it's starting. I keep telling Kelly, I think you start seeing there's a point when YouTube likes you and they start recommending it because you can't do it on your own. You have to get to a point where YouTube goes, I'm going to throw this out here. I'm going to throw it out to the masses. It's good enough. I'm throwing it to them. And I can see that happening with the boat build series.
Yep.
I see it happening. So it's encouraging to do it that way. And I think it comes down to doing videos on things you love. And I like building boats, I like it. And it's fun. So I want to continue with it. And I'm already excited about the next one. And Cameron's excited
So
about some finish.
Fulton Fine Woodworking will now become Cam's thing, and you'll start a new one that's Fulton Fine Boat Building.
I'm starting to think about Sedge Tool Lawn and Garden. My
There you
top
go.
3 videos I did. One was 3 years ago, one was 2 years ago, and one was recent. And they're all Ego Power equipment.
Yeah, but there's a lot of audience that want to know about that kind of thing.
They want to know about the
Yeah.
mowers
Yeah. Yeah.
and the multi-head. And Ronnie, you said that. I like to talk about what I like to use. So
I mean, it's
And I
Jason's the
intersperse
same
it.
way. Jason's the same way. When he has something, he likes the Conturo. It's like, it shows. I love it too.
It's easy to talk about things and make it interesting and exciting if you're truly excited about it.
It is.
You know what I mean?
it's
It
like the
is.
Graco sprayer.
Yeah.
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 They don't do any affiliate or anything like that.
Right.
But you like talking about it. You just released it again, right?
Yeah.
Another one.
I watched
Mhm.
that, Jason. I still have that on my buy list. That's a perfect example of a tool
Yep.
that I know I need it. I know I would use it. It's at that price point where you're like going, this is like over $1,000. You're like sitting there going, man, but I would use it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kick myself. Like there's been times we had to paint a door at a rental not long ago, a 6-panel door. And I'm sitting there with a brush going, this isn't worth getting out my Nova. This isn't worth getting out my other stuff. But if I had that quick shot, I'd use it right now. So
Yeah.
I really need to get it. I watched your video again. I'm sitting there going, oh man, I need to get that.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't release a video for 2 months on YouTube. I released that video and put like such little effort into titling and thumbnails and all that stuff, and it like crushed every other video I've done in the past.
I saw your number on
Like
it. When I
5
saw
months.
it had been out for 2 days. I always just by habit look at the number. I'm like, wow, this video is doing good.
I think
Yeah.
it had 100,000 views today.
Well, I was a little worried that I had taken over a 2-month break, and I was worried I was scared I was going to go to YouTube jail, and because Instagram does that to you. It's not they do. If you don't post for a while, they'll hold you back some. I don't feel like YouTube does that. I think that
No.
they understand that you can't post every week, and post quality stuff. I mean, Mark Rober, what does he post? 3 videos a year?
Yeah, and they're all like millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not all about quantity or that
No,
it's
no, no.
almost like don't post just to post. You have to have something worth watching. And YouTube
Hmm.
knows if it's
Yeah.
worth watching or not. They know.
Who is
The
this guy?
Mark Rober is the guy who makes the videos like if I drop an egg from space and you would watch it just because his thumbnails are so and he only puts out like 2 or 3 videos. I'm guessing it's like no more than four videos a year. But every time he posts, I mean, it has like 300 million views. Isn't it something like
Yeah,
that, Jason?
his videos are insane. He's a I want to say he's a engineer or a something or other. Like he's a super super smart wizard guy.
Rover? Mark?
Mark
Rober, R O
B
R
E
O
R
B
Rober,
E
I
R.
think.
He he went through this one I saw once where he's about dropping an egg from space, and he was like, he just goes right into it. And even if you don't even care about science, you almost can't not watch it.
Well, how does he get the egg up there?
Well,
Does he
that's why
spend
you
time
started
on a
watching the
space
video.
shuttle? And
That's the reason
does
why
he
you watched the
actually
video.
open the window on the?
That's exactly why you just watched the video.
Yeah. He's like
Does
a
he went
scientist or something.
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
SpaceX and they open a windows and he drops one and he times it?
It's you just answered. His thumbnail is amazing because it made you ask all these questions. And he talks about, I saw an interview where he talked about the design of that thumbnail and how much work went into it, like more effort than we would ever put into like 10 videos, just the thumbnail alone. And when you
He's
have
a
time like
former
that,
NASA engineer.
yeah,
Oh,
he
so
has.
he can rent space on the SpaceX to drop the egg.
Well, it's more about he goes into the detail of it, but yeah. But his format of his video is I'm going to throw an egg for space, but NASA won't let me on their ship. So therefore, I'm going to do this. Therefore, I'm going to do this. You're like 6 levels down when you're watching the video. There's no place to jump off from it. You have to stay with it till the end. Like that's his format is just amazing. Um, and what I was saying is I feel like YouTube can kind of tell that with their algorithms how videos are, and they kind of place them based on that. But
Oh, he's only got 68 million point eight subscribers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
That's all.
Yeah, 68 million. That's not that much. I'm not impressed. I
Egg
could have that
drop
much if
from
I wanted to.
space.
I just subscribed.
My my grandmother had 69 million.
His videos are good. He's very good at what he does. He's
Yeah,
very enjoyable to watch.
yeah, it's very professionally done, of course.
Kind of
But
like Drew Witt.
No, the complete opposite of Drew Witt.
that's funny. But that's yeah, that's my little YouTube for the day thing. But I'm glad to get back in the game. I've been, how when you know you need to do something, but you don't because you just have to keep making it the next down priority. I felt really bad for the last 3 weeks. I felt behind because I haven't gotten it out. And I'm glad I just kind of just sat down and just made myself get it done. It felt very nice. I don't feel as behind now. So that's good. But we're going to be filming the next one when Cameron gets back, and it'll be pretty soon. Because I cannot wait to put that stuff on the top. Can't wait.
Nice.
It's going to
Yeah,
be.
man.
That's
I
the
can't
part you
wait.
see.
Yeah,
That's the part you see.
that's the craftsmanship.
Yeah, it's going to be tedious stuff, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Very.
It'll all be worth
J-
it.
Jason, what have you been up to?
All right. I want to talk about something.
All right. He's like, all right.
So last week or this weekend, I was in Florida. We went to Winter Haven, Florida.
Yep.
Mhm.
Flew into Tampa. Tampa's the worst city on earth for driving. I'm
It is.
convinced. We got there. It took us 2 hours to drive the 58 miles from the airport to the resort. But I want to ask a question. Why on earth? Hold on. Let me preface this by saying I don't want to sound like the worst father in the world or the worst parent in the world, but I'm going to, I think. Why on the world do we spend thousands of dollars to take our kids on a trip that we think that they would have fun and enjoy? Again, spend thousands of dollars to have amplified every single thing that drives us absolutely batshit crazy about our children
Mhm.
for the entire trip. Why?
Marketing.
Creating memories.
No, it's marketing.
Jesus.
It's the best marketing ever. They make you feel bad as a parent if you do not do it. It's an experience the kids must have, is what they make you think.
Like
Okay, so
I,
do you,
I,
oh, do you think I know Leo will remember? You think Max will remember?
not. I mean,
Okay,
maybe a little bit.
okay, so that's why. And I said it and I laughed, but it's creating memories for them. You think they're not going to remember? And when I was in Florida visiting with the kids, they were talking about times we were at Disney. And remember the time that Danny was on your shoulders? He's 30. He's 30. He was on your shoulders the whole time, and he remembers it.
Well, I'll tell you
So,
what. When that day
so
comes where they're reminding me of those things, I will then say that that money and time was absolutely worth it.
Or they're gonna say, "Dad, have we ever been to Disney?" You're gonna be like, "Yes." You don't remember?
Danny was on my
God.
shoulders for 8 hours at Magic Kingdom. 8 hours.
So we we went to Legoland. And I will say that this trip 100% solidified that I will never go to Disney with the kids. I will never even mention it to them ever. But like, I get it. They're kids. They're young. They don't they don't know, right? Like they don't know how to manage their emotions and their feelings. But like the very first morning we get up and it's hot. It's like 90 degrees and 90% humidity. And we get to the place, of course, 15 minutes before they open. We're standing in line waiting for them to open the doors. And then Leo's just whining, complaining because it's hot and I need to go to the shade. And when are they going to open the doors? And then we get in and they're like having fun. And but Nicole like wants to rush to this pirate thing and take some boat ride, and we're like some of the first people over there, and then all these people like rush in and get in line, so we had to wait till the second set, and it's a 20-minute ride, and we're standing in line, and the kids are just whining and crying, and I'm just like, oh my, I almost lost it, and we were in the park for an hour, and then we go out on the ride, and they're fine, they're great, and then we go on to something else, and then they want to ride the same ride 15 times, and they're whining and crying, and Max can't do all the rides. And so we got to go to separate. It's just, oh my God, just so frustrating. Right. And then, they had a lot of fun. They were also little, you know, tears the entire day. But here's what's really funny about it. So we spent pretty much the whole day at Legoland the first day. Then we go back to the little Legoland resort, which is basically across the street, and they have a pool there. And so they got in the pool. The funnest time they had on this entire trip was at the pool.
Yep.
I don't need to spend thousands of dollars and fly down to Florida to go to
Mhm.
Legoland. I can take them right up to the street to the club and use a pool for free,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But they loved it. They had so much fun at the pool. And then the next day, we went back to the park, but all we did, Nicole and I both looked at each other and we're like, why don't we just do the aquarium today? The Peppa Pig theme park is probably not really going to be worth it. And then we'll just come back and go to the pool. And like, that's what we did. And they had a blast. Like they had so much fun. And then, of course, we came home and it was whining and the flights were too long. And then, of course, we got delayed. It was just this, it was a great trip making memories with the kids. It was wonderful. Being a parent is amazing, everyone. If you don't have kids, have them. It's wonderful. It's the best.
We did Disney once, did that for that experience when they were younger. Madison was obsessed with princesses. That's the time to go to Disney. With girls like are obsessed with, that's the only place they can go meet them all. And that time there was nothing for boys. Now they bought Star Wars, which was so smart because there was nothing for boys at Disney. It was all princess stuff. And So we went to SeaWorld to try to do something for Cameron, and both of our kids absolutely love SeaWorld. They loved it. It's all they talked about. They could care less about Disney, and Disney was so much more expensive, but they
Hmm.
still remember SeaWorld and over Disney. And what that tells me is it's like we have to be careful about what we're marketed to because they
Hmm.
tell you that Disney is the ultimate experience, but sometimes it's a cardboard box or it's
Sea
a pool. You know,
SeaWorld is awesome.
it is
Ronnie,
amazing.
what's
It's
the best
amazing.
part about SeaWorld?
The shows,
No,
the
they serve
shows.
beer.
Oh yeah, and they also have rides there.
Well, so
They
did
have,
Legoland.
but the kids
Really?
love the shows. I think they got rid of the whale now. I don't think they have the whale, but that was a cool show. But that SeaWorld was impressive, and it doesn't get marketed as much. But I think it's big. Everybody's kids are different too. You know, for us, Disney was amazing because Madison had every princess dress, and it was like she went to see all of her heroes. But not all kids would appreciate it, and it's like you don't have to take them there just because you're the parent. You know,
I I think what's
Oh,
so frustrating to me is that I would almost expect that Max would be the bigger problem than Leo, but Leo is the one who just nothing is ever good enough. And I'll tell you what.
okay.
Thank God they had beer there. All I gotta say.
Okay, so I got to tell you, everybody, I know you're driving and listen to this on Apple, Spotify, and all the other. But when we post this on YouTube, you have to freaking watch it because Ben's expression is priceless. I'm just
yeah, we.
myself here. I
That's why I
can't
was
stop
laughing.
laughing.
I know I couldn't
You,
stop
your
laughing either. You could tell he
your
was beat.
face is awesome.
You could tell it beat him. He got beat. He lost.
Yeah, I am. I'm very very thankful that we are back. And to be fair, I will say that there was a lot of instances where it was like really cool, right? It was really
Yeah,
nice
of
to see them
course.
have so much fun. Uh, Most honestly, primarily was in the pool. Like I even got in the pool and swam with them, and like it was just great because they just, it was so much fun, and like both of them, because neither one of them like really know how to swim on their own, right? So like Leo made a lot of headway, and Max was really into it, and that was fun, and they just lots of laughs, but golly, man, sometimes I just want to.
You
But
know,
yeah,
I think the standard thing I've seen videos on it before where the meme where like the kids they're at an amusement park and the parents are like, "You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have the most fun you've ever had in your entire life," and the kids like crying because the parents spent so much money and kids don't
yes.
understand that,
Well,
and so it
it's
puts the pressure on the kids that they don't even understand why. You know,
right. It's
it
honestly, it's
yeah,
hard. And Nicole and I both have to remind ourselves sometimes it's really hard to not take things personally because we are looking at it from a financial
right,
perspective. It's like, okay, this is going to be the one big trip outside of going to Germany, but this is the one big trip we're going to take the kids on this year that's kind of directed towards the children. We understand how much that costs to do it, and they have absolutely no recollection or any. They know nothing about any of that. That it's not even a thing that they think about. So it's easy to get even more upset because it's like, do you realize how much this costs? Or like, we're never doing this stuff again. So
it's
it's
hard.
an interesting dynamic, but glad to be back. Um, Overall, I would say it was a successful trip. It was just very,
I
very
just
frustrating.
I
But
just can't believe I lived down there for 25 years in that heat and humidity.
Yeah, they
yeah,
say it's the
uh,
hardest thing to get all used to.
I would finish
going down
I
there in the wintertime is great.
I
Hmm.
know. I would finish my run and there was one day it was not, like I said earlier, it was 93 degrees. I jumped in the pool at the house and I sat there for a while and I rolled over, grabbed my phone while I was in the pool and I looked, it was 51 degrees here in Whitestown, Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I went in, I looked at Marianne, I go, what are we doing here? We had plays to go to, grandson's graduations. My son-in-law got his white coat for doctorate of physical therapy. That was pretty impressive. It was I went it wasn't a true graduation, but it was probably one of the coolest ceremonies for education I've ever been to. It was really well done. So, and we went to a luncheon and then we got on the plane and what a drag.
Yeah.
We got off the plane. It was about 9:30 at night. And Marianne goes, no, I'll walk out to the car with you because it was just such a pleasant evening. Breeze was blowing, very little humidity. And I think it was in the 60s. And she's going, yeah, this is nice. It feels like we're in a air conditioning outside.
Nicole actually said, she's like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm glad that we don't live in the South and we live in Indiana. I'm like, yeah, because we just haven't been around. I mean, it gets humid up here, but we just haven't been around that heat and humidity yet this year.
Yeah.
And so like she went out, Nicole's doing a run streak. She runs every day at least a mile, but she did it while we were there. And she went out and ran 1 mile and came back and was just like, it looked like she jumped in in the damn lake.
Drenched.
Like it was
drenched.
Yeah. I don't
There
miss
was
that
one
when I was
day
down
after
in
the run,
Georgia.
I sat in the pool for an hour.
There's people that go down to Florida like in the spring and winter and decide to buy there, and they've never been there in the summer. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like they don't even know that it changes. There's a reason why there's all those big houses in Rhode Island, in Michigan, and all those people leave Naples and go up to their other house. There's a reason why they leave.
Yeah.
Because it gets very, very hot. I guess when you're used to it though, I've had friends that live there and they said the kids get used to playing when the sun's setting and they play at night outside because it's in the summer it's just unbearably hot. So they just play when it cools off.
After 5 o'clock, they're outside.
Yeah, yeah. So it's what you get used to, I'm sure. But it's hard for somebody not used to that when you go down there. It's an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, and it's just been such wicked nice weather here.
Yeah,
in
it has
Indiana.
been. It's been here too. I just still
Be
don't feel
nice
like
tomorrow. I'm
summer's
going
here.
golfing.
I don't feel like it's summer. I still don't feel like it's like pool weather yet. We've only had a few days that we're in the 90s now, and I just feel like it's still spring. But then I realize it's like, oh, and I got a question. Like maybe you'll know the answer. I haven't Googled it yet. Is
7
this
inches.
the earliest? Is this the earliest Father's Day has ever came?
Oh, one of them.
I never remember Father's Day. I thought Father's Day was like June the 21st or something. Why is it on the 15th this year?
Everything has been a little bit early this year. Like the Memorial Day was the 500 really messed me up because usually it's the last weekend, but it wasn't.
Well, I
Memorial Day seemed a little
Was it?
earlier too.
Well, I saw the other day that Father's Day was on the 15th. I told Kelly, I thought Father's Day always falls in the 20 something. It's like,
Yeah,
why is it
yeah.
like a week early?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing with the 500 this year.
Huh.
And I was talking to somebody else about it. And he says, yeah, it's a week early.
Wonder why that is.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because they had a special at Legoland.
Yeah.
Creating memories.
Screw that place. I'm never going back.
That
Never going
happens
back.
at every level. When we took the kids when they were young teenagers to Hawaii, we went for 3 weeks because we wouldn't make it worth it. In the third week, I remember Kip Madison just about start crying because she thought she was missing out on things with her friends. Same thing as you're talking about, Jason. I'm sitting there going, do you know how much this trip is costing? Aren't you happy? But kids just don't completely, even all the way up to the teenager like world, they can't take in, I think, as much of the experience as we can, and they all have a cutoff point. If they don't appreciate what it was, they all have a cutoff point. Maybe when they're younger, it's shorter time. Like they can do 3 hours in Legoland and they lose it completely. And as they get older, they can do 2 weeks in Hawaii, but then they kind of lose it completely. Same way. Different kind of amusement park,
Right.
And I remind Madison all the time. She's like, we need to go back to Hawaii. I'm like, you cried to go home. She was like, I was young. I was stupid. I'm sorry.
Jason, you can have a little revenge here later on in life when Leo has his kids. And you're sitting around Thanksgiving dinner and you're talking to the grandkids who are 3, 4, and 5 and say, you know what? You ought to ask mommy and daddy to take you to Legoland
Yep. Oh, I'm
Hey,
doing
and I got
it.
an idea.
I'll buy
And
them the
st-
tickets.
and stir the frickin' pot.
And on that same note, Sedge, next time you're at Jason's house, you need to go up to Leo and go, Leo, you went to Legoland? You need to tell your daddy to take you to Disney.
Do not.
I won't.
Do not do that.
Be like, you haven't went there?
Oh, we've
Have you
already
been
talked
to
about
Sea-
it.
That.
Have you been to
You need-
SeaWorld?
Just tell your mom you want to go really bad. Start telling her
And
all the time.
then you could go to Six Flags Atlantis.
We've already talked about next year. You know what our trip's going to be? We're going to find like an all-inclusive resort down in like Mexico that is also a much more kid-friendly one to
Hmm.
where they can have fun and we can have fun.
Yes. You know what, Jason?
That's
Perfect
the way to
example.
do it.
There's a place in Pigeon Forge that we used to stay right next to Gatlinburg, and it's called the Music City Inn, I believe is what it's called. And they have a pool with a water slide that goes around. And we used to stay there on the way down to going somewhere else. Our kids would have more fun there than the destination that we were going to that was much more expensive. And I remember looking at her one day and I was like, we just need to come here and just, there you go. Because they didn't want to leave. They cried when we left. They were like, oh, we love it here. And we're
Yeah.
like, this is just the stop on the way down. So kids can they sometimes it can be more simple than we think they are.
And sometimes it can be impossible.
They can be a lot. It's hard. You've got an age that's hard. That'll
Yep.
test your patience
Yeah.
for sure. It gets easier. Just be glad you don't have girls.
Well, it's funny. Max is so much more chill than Leo. Like Max would stay in the sun the entire time. Like no qualms, no complaining,
Max
nothing.
Max is a freaking tank, dude.
Yeah, he is.
He's gonna be a fucking UFC champion.
And as
Yeah,
they get older,
probably.
they'll play together, and it'll help you too. That they'll be
Yeah,
playing more
it'll be
together.
cool.
Yeah,
They
it's good
they
to
do
have
that
two.
fairly well now.
Yeah, that's good too. So it'll get better. It's a hard time.
No,
It is. It's probably one of the toughest times actually. What are their ages?
6 and 2.
Yeah, it's not an easy time. You got a two.
Yeah, Max will be 3 in August and Leo 7 in November. So
It'll
and
get
now we're going
easier.
to Germany next month. So hopefully Max matures a little bit over the next 30 days.
Hey,
Matures.
how long you guys going this year?
2 weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Good. That'll be good.
That'll be good. I'm trying to. I've fallen off the wagon in terms of like the food and all that stuff. Have you guys seen the post that Hibbs about
Yes.
Bourbon
Jesus
Moth?
Christ, is he ripped or what?
Yeah. So I know we're running out of time, but back in February when I picked him up from the airport, we were sitting at the bar and I asked him if he wanted something to drink, and he's like, "No, I'm actually not drinking right now. I've been going through this program," and he had just started in January, and he had told me who it was, who's that Luke Golden guy, and Luke actually wrote me a message about 2 weeks ago before Jason had posted all that stuff, and was asking um, if I had any interest in working with him. So I'm actually working with him now.
Oh, cool.
But super cool guy. He's out of the UK. But I've just, I've been drinking too much and making poor decisions. And so I told him, I was like, dude, after this trip down to Legoland, I'm all in. I'm like, I'm tired of feeling like crap. But what Jason has done, man, that is incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I did a screenshot and I put it up on my wall,
Yeah. Yeah.
in my bedroom.
In your jail cell.
My jail.
Yeah. My wife has it as a screensaver on her phone. It's really weird.
What's up
I was
with
like,
that?
that's the wrong Jason. No,
In
good for
my
him though.
Jail in my jail cell.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a calendar out of Jason Hibbs' photo shoot. I'm gonna ask him if he's gonna be in the next 300 movie. I'll tell you what though, that guy Luke's inbox has been flooded
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
can
bet.
since he
imagine.
posted about it. Do you know that Jason started like his own little fitness page? Did you guys see that?
Is
No.
it
Moth
Bourbon
Fitness?
Moth Fitness? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Last time I checked, it had like 1,600 followers.
Yeah, you
Just
can
created it.
tell he's all into it. He just didn't want to clog up his regular page.
Yeah.
So he's like posting like the walks and stuff that he does when he's in
Yeah.
That's-
Rome right now.
That's really good to see a friend like that. Get a hold of that and do the right thing,
Yeah.
and stay fit because he's got a good life and he's just adding to the longevity of it. It's wicked
Yeah.
cool. I was so stoked to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's cool.
holy cow. I mean, I've seen progress pictures that he's done periodically along the way. And I was like, oh, wow. He was not terrible starting off
No.
in the first place. Like he had
He's been
a
he's been a
solid
fit
foundation.
dude.
Yeah.
People should realize he did cross country bicycling too.
Yeah.
He's been fit his whole life.
But there's another guy who I guess like the two of them just had such remarkable transformations. The other guy, he made a lot of progress compared like his before photo. I saw it. But it was just really impressive. I would say like this is now the third coach that I will have worked with in the past couple of years. And I had great success the first one. I had good success the second one, but the second one was more like I just kind of maintained. And it was a person that I knew. The first one was very restrictive and kind of, it seemed like
Yeah,
sometimes
but
he was irritated by the questions that I was asking. It's
I
very
totally
important to
understand.
find somebody
you
that you get along with.
but boy, you dropped quick.
I did,
And
but it was a not really sustainable long term and be happy. I think
okay.
the second one where I maintained a lot better just to get me in the habit of like cheating and figuring out where I could make it up other
Mm.
places, which just led me down, a bad path. Again, it led me back into my old ways. But a big portion of it is finding somebody that you can work with, and have hard conversations with, and understand that their advice is good. And I have a feeling that this guy is going to be that way. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not trying to look like Jason, although I'm sure my wife wouldn't be terribly upset if I did. At least that's what she keeps telling me. No, it's weird. I don't know.
Whatever.
Bent moth. I'll have to change
Bent
my,
moth.
yeah, bent
Just call it
moth.
bent tool.
Yeah, bent tool. There we go. All right. Well,
Okay.
I guess we can go ahead and wrap up there.
Wow, that was fun, guys. That I
Yeah.
can't believe it's already that time.
It's already that time.
Speaking
Make
of
sure
pain in the
make
butt
sure if you
kids,
like this to write a review for us on Spotify or Apple or any of the platforms. We really appreciate it. And if you're
Yeah,
watching this,
do
please
that.
subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of these wonderful podcasts.
He's just going down his checklist.
Yeah.
Okay, and don't forget to become a patron because you can become part of SplinterCon. And we don't have a lot of tickets left, do we, gentlemen?
No, we do not.
And SplinterCon and Patreon memberships are a great gift giving guide for everyone on your gift giving list.
Yeah, there you go. Sign up today. Save 10%
Bye-bye.
by paying for a whole year.
Memberships are limited.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye-bye.